Okay, so for today's lesson, what we are going to do is we are going to just, not even a lesson, we're just going to go over the answer key for the quiz that we're going to have on radicals. And the first problem that you have here is radical 32, 8, x to the 8th. And so what you're going to do is simplify this into separate square roots. So radical 32 is just radical 16 times radical 2, and x to the 8th is even. Remember, they only have exponents are perfect squares if they're variables are perfect squares if their exponents are even. So what's going to happen here is 4 is going to drop out. Square root of 2 is irrational. You can't do anything with it. And because x to the 8th is even, what comes out is x to the 4th, and that's your final answer. On the next one, radical 108. That's going to be rewritten as 2/3 radical 36 times radical 3. The square root of 36 is just 6. 2/3 of 6 is just 12/3, or 4 radical 3. On 3, you can either multiply both radicals together if you'd like, or you could feel free to simplify first before you multiply everything together. What I'm going to do is do the multiplication straight across. So 7 times 3 is 21. Radical 6 times radical 18 is going to be radical 108. And I know that radical 108 has the perfect square of 36 that multiplies into it times 3. Square root of 36 is just 6. And what happens is 21 times 6 becomes 126 radical 3. Why is it not blue? There we go. 126 radical 3. On 6, notice that the square root of 49 is already a perfect square. So that's just going to be 7. And this ends up becoming 42 over square root of 18. You can multiply both top and bottom by 18. You need to remember rationalize it. So I'm going to rationalize that. So by rationalizing, that's going to give you on the top 42 radical 18 over 18. The square root of 18 can be broken down into radical 9 and radical 2. And radical 9 can be broken down into 3. Now you could do a couple of things here. You can multiply 42 times 3, radical 2, and simplify that. Or maybe you can just notice that 3 on the outside goes into 18 6 times. Okay, so it's like 1/6. And then you can notice 42 divided by 6 is just 7. Your final answer becomes 7 radical 2. Again, you could have multiplied 42 times 3 and gotten 126, and then realized that 126 divides out evenly by 18. You could have even simplified 42 and 18, these guys, first, before you did the radical of 18. Lots of choices. Okay, so whatever you like to do best is fine. Lots of choices, one correct answer. Okay, number 5. Distribute. This becomes like -1 radical 3. So it's -6 radical 6 plus 4 radical 9. But don't forget that radical 9 hold on for 1 second. Okay, I just realized that I skipped 5 and 6, so I'll come back to those. So -6, this is 7 now. -6 radical 6 plus 4 radical 9, which is really just 4 times 3. This becomes -6 radical 6 plus 12, and you can stop right there. You're at the FOIL on this one. So this becomes 4 radical 42 plus 2 radical 7 plus, I'm going to have to move down the bottom, I don't have that much room, plus 4 radical 18 plus 2 radical 3. Everything here is simplified form with the exception of 4 radical 18. So what's going to happen is you're going to have your 4 radical 42 plus 2 radical 7 plus 4 radical 9 radical 2 plus 2 radical 3. Square root of 9 is just 3. Final answer. A lot of writing here. 4 root 42, 2 rad 7, 12 rad 2, 2 rad 3. And there's your final answer. 9. You have to FOIL this. It really has got 2 parentheses. So I'm going to put another one, 2 rad 5 plus 7. When you FOIL this, it becomes 4 rad 25 plus 14 rad 5 plus 14 rad 5 plus 49. What's going to happen here is you really get 4 times 5, which really just becomes 20. So it's 20 plus 28 rad 5 plus 49, or 69 plus 28 rad 5. This one, you need to multiply both top and bottom by the conjugate because you're dealing with the binomial. And what happens here on the bottom is you're just going to get 4 minus 3, which is negative 1. And on the top, you're going to distribute, and you're going to get rad 12 plus rad 18. Well, rad 12, and I'm just going to kind of come over here. Rad 12 is rad 4, rad 3. Rad 18 is rad 9, rad 2 over negative 1. A 2 is the perfect square. That falls out of the perfect square. 3 falls out of this square root of 9. And then you get 2 rad 3 plus 3 rad 2 over negative 1. Okay. 11, conjugate again. Multiply both sides by 4 plus rad 5. 4 plus rad 5. On the bottom, what you get is 16 minus 5, which in this case is going to be 11. On the top, when you FOIL, you get 20 plus 5 rad 5 plus 4 rad 2 plus rad 10. Nothing there can be simplified, so that's what the whole thing is. It'll make it a little bit neater. So it becomes 20 plus 5 rad 5 plus 4 rad 2 plus rad 10 over 11. 12, an old problem solve for x. You basically have to set the equation equal to 0. You're going to bring 6 to the other side, and you're going to add x squared to the other side. And then you've got 0 equals x squared plus x minus 6. And then you're going to factor this to give you x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0, and x equals negative 3, x equals 2. So somehow I skipped 5 and 6. Don't know how that happened. So let's do 5 real fast. 5, radical 27 over 36. I can separate them into 2 separate radicals. Realize that my denominator is already a perfect square. My numerator, rad 9, rad 3. Rad 9 is just 3. I can simplify the final answer to 1 rad 3 over 2. Last one on 6. It's going to be 3 rad 20 minus rad 5 plus 1/2 rad 80. Well, 3 rad 20 is 3 rad 4 rad 5. Rad 5 doesn't do anything. 1/2 rad 16 rad 5. Square root of 4 is 2. This becomes 6 rad 5 minus 1 rad 5 plus square root of 16 is just 4. Half of 4 is just 2. And then I've got 6 minus 1 is 5, and 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 rad 5. Final answer. There you go.